Harrison looks for the run of Rodrigo, finds Rodrigo, lovely, it's off the bar, back to Rodrigo, takes a too heavy a touch, Bamford to strike on his left. What on earth is my goalkeeper doing? Welcome back to my channel, everyone. My name's Adrian, and this is my first FIFA 23 career mode episode, and it is with Leeds United. As you can see, anyone who watched my previous season on FIFA 22 with Tottenham will know that the objectives were to win the Champions League and the Premier League pretty much straight away. So with this one, I kind of want to have a little bit more fun, try and start a little bit further down the table, avoid relegation early doors, and then see, hopefully long term, if we can build our way up to eventually challenge for the Premier League title. So with this episode, what I'm planning to do, as you can see, I've already joined the pre-season cup competition, which I'm going to sim. But what I'm planning to do with this episode is go through the objectives, go through my squad, planned transfers, and then hopefully finish off with our first game of the Premier League season. So first and foremost, let's have a quick look to see who we're going to be playing. And it is going to be Leicester at home. So that is definitely a game that I think is winnable. So on to our objectives, and as you can see, it looks like it's pretty youth orientated. Sign at least 2 younger players than 20, sign 1 player in the youth academy, and then within 2 seasons sign 1 youth player to the senior team and play them in 5 matches. So a bit strange because it says youth development is low priority, but then seems like they are the main ones that they want me to complete. So bit weird there, but brand exposure being high, sign 1 young player. Well, that is definitely doable. Continental success, very low because we're not in Europe. Domestic success, finish mid-table. Now, I was hoping to try and avoid relegation this year, but if they want me to finish mid-table, I think that's going to be a bit of a challenge. And round 16 of the FA Cup, I think that as well is going to be a bit of a challenge also. And then financially, gain 30, just over 30 mil from shirt sales within a season. That is going to be very tough. So I definitely think I can do. Well, I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but we're going to give it a go. That's what we're here for. So let's head over to the squad, team management. Let's see what Leeds are up to. And as I can see, they play 4-2-3-1. So to be fair, that's going to be a bit of a refreshing way of playing, considering I was playing with 3 at the back with Spurs pretty much the entire of my career mode last time. So very much looking forward to doing this. And looking at the actual ratings, Leeds are pretty average, but actually they're better than I thought they were going to be. Pretty much all of their teams are kind of mid-70s, kind of between 70 kind of to 79. They've actually only got 1 80 ranked player in Sinisterra. So yeah, I definitely think he's going to be our key man. But the team is actually a lot better than I thought. The only problem is they don't really have too much in terms of squad depth. Now, I was kind of looking at a lot of these players, and it seems like we've only got 1 left back in Firpo, and we've only really got Sinisterra and Harrison who can play on the wings. So potentially those might be areas that I'm going to have to look to try and improve. And also at central midfield as well, I've got two players in central midfield, 70, both rated 76, and at the same at centre back. But then looking at the actual squad depth, in terms of central midfield, I've got a 74 and a 75 in Klitsch and Dallas. And then at the back, I've actually only got 1 other centre back in Koch, and he's also 76 as well. So definitely think in terms of on the wings, left back, centre back, and central midfield, all of those positions really need to be improved. It's just really about what we've got to play with in terms of our transfer budget. So the initial budget was 46 mil, but as you can see, that's gone down to 35. Now, the reason that's gone down to 35 is because I've had to bring in some additional scouts. Now, we actually only had 3 scouts at the club to begin with, and so I've brought in an extra 3 scouts, which has cost me a fair amount of money. And in addition to that, we actually only had 1 youth scout, so I've brought in an additional 2 and also set up some, let me just show you, set up some scouting networks, which are being set up. So 1 in England, 1 in France, and 1 in Spain, as well as some other scouting instructions I've given, which are pretty straightforward, to be fair. Nothing major. You can see here, pretty much just looking for first team quality players, pretty much across all of the positions I have. So nothing fancy there, but that's pretty much where all my money has gone. And I've now only got 35 mil to spend. So I definitely think I'm going to have to make some sales before I try and bring some new players in. And speaking of sales, you can see here I've decided to transfer list only 2 players in the team. We've got Klitsch and also Adam Forshaw as well. You can see they're both 30 and above, and they're both in central midfield. So definitely going to have to try and improve at central midfield. But the thing is, I can definitely make some additional sales. I can probably look to maybe try and move on one or two of my centre-backs, maybe, I don't know, maybe another central midfielder. I'm not 100% sure, but I didn't really want to break up the team too much. I kind of was thinking about possibly getting rid of Liam Cooper, but he is the club captain, but he is 30, so I don't really think he's going to improve above 76, but I kind of thought better of it. As I said, I don't really want to break the team up too much, and I don't really know how much money I get for him in order for me to bring anyone else in. So just decided to put 2 central midfielders on the transfer list at the moment, and so I've actually decided that I'm going to try and focus my efforts on bringing in another central midfielder, obviously to cover those 2, hopefully, that will be outgoing. Definitely want to bring in a left-sided midfielder, a left-sided defender, and definitely want to bring in at least 1 winger. I mentioned at the start, I've only actually got 2 wingers at the club, but I was looking through the squad hub earlier, and I found that, well, actually I'd forgotten that Leeds in real life have loaned out Dan James to Fulham, which I think in real life is a bit odd, and I think in the game it's a bit odd. So I've decided to recall him for, 330 grand, I'll take that. So I'm going to recall him, so that means I then only need to prioritise maybe bringing in 1 player, 1 winger. So yeah, going to look at central midfield, left back, I keep saying left midfield, left back, and then also a winger as well. I think it just depends on, in terms of how much these players are going to cost, as to who I'm going to bring in. So I have kind of gone away and done some, I've kind of shortlisted several players here. And what you can see with this, I've shortlisted central midfielders, I've shortlisted left backs, and I've also shortlisted wingers as well. And what you can pretty much see with all of these is they are youth players, which hopefully with quite a lot of potential, as I think based on the transfer budget I've got, I'm not really going to be able to go out and spend loads of money on loads of different first team players. I'm going to have to play the long game, bring in some youth players, and hopefully develop them over time. So what I'm going to do is, I've got all these players that are pretty much being scouted. That's going to take probably a fair amount of time. So I'm going to go ahead and sim all of the pre-season games. I'm going to try and see if I can get any offers for my players that I've got on the transfer list. And then once I've got all these scouting reports back, I can then make a decision on who I want to bring into the club. So before I've even had the chance to sim any of the pre-season games, I have had offers and negotiated, and I've been able to sell both Klitsch and Forshaw for a combined, just over 5 mil. So could have probably got more for them, and I did have 1 or 2 other offers, but in the end wasn't really able to negotiate too much higher than that. So that's both of them out the door, and that means I can now go ahead and start trying to bring players in. So if I look at what I've got 41 mil. So got a lot to do. As I said, looking for central midfielder, that's the priority. Then looking for a winger, and of course a left back as well. So let's head over to the transfer hub, as I have got all of my scout reports back. So here is my shortlist with, of course, all my scout reports have finally come in. And what I have done is I actually did have a bigger list than this. I had loads of young players, but I've actually taken the time to go through it a little bit to try and shortlist my shortlist a little bit more. But I've still got several players that potentially I'm quite interested in. We've got at left back, we've got Parisi, who possibly I can get for 3.1 mil. We've got Merlin, who again I can possibly get for 3.5. We've got Luca Netz, who's probably my top target. I can get him for around 6.8 mil. And then you can see in central midfield, I've got several targets. Jacob Ramsey being one of them. He's probably my top target. Kenneth Taylor. We've got lots of different options, a few different options there as well. And then looking in the winger positions, the likes of Cherki, Popescu, Zabalios, Elanga, Kubo, Brennan Johnson. So I've pretty much gone through these, and I can't quite make my mind up who I want to try and buy. So I'm going to have a little bit more of a play around with this, and yeah, you're then going to see who I'm going to decide to bring in for my Leeds United team. So here we go then onto the squad hub, and I have managed to bring in 3 players. The first of those 3, as you can see, Luca Netz, my number 1 target at left back. Overall 73, has a great amount of potential, and I ended up managing to bring him in for about 5.6 mil. So I was really, really happy with that. So if we move on now to our next signing, you will see in central midfield, Jacob Ramsey. So managed to get him in, I think it was for about 10 mil. Have to double check that again. 75 overall rated. Again, massive amount of potential. And to be fair, he can challenge right away for our first team. So again, really, really happy with that. And then, of course, our final signing at the winger position, I decided to go for Tavian Popescu, overall 72. So he won't get in the first team immediately, but he does have decent stats. He is showing great potential, and he does have very good pace and a very high ceiling for potential. And I did manage to bring him in for around 6 mil as well. So overall, I was really, really happy with those signings. And actually, it has still left me, if I go to the office, it has still left me with 14 mil in my budget. So we're going to play a few games. I'm going to play the first game of the season to end this episode. And then before the end of this summer transfer window, I'm obviously going to see how I'm going to get on in the first month in the Premier League. And then I'll make a decision as to whether or not I need to bring any additional players in. But for now, it's enough of the talk. Let's go ahead and play Leicester City for our very first Premier League game of the episode. So here we go then. It is on to the first game of this episode. And of course, it's the first game of the Premier League. It is Leeds United against Leicester City at Ellen Road. So let's have a quick look at the lineups so we can have a look to see what we're going to be working with today. So in terms of ourselves, you can see, let me just rearrange that. So Meslier in goal, Christensen at right back, Llorente and Struijk. I think his name's Struijk. Firpo left back, Tyler Adams and Roca in central midfield. Rodrigo in the cam position, Harrison, Sinisterra and Bamford up front. And as you can see, none of my new signings have actually made the starting 11. Luca Netz is also a sub with Jacob Ramsey as well. And for the eagle-eyed viewers, you'll notice Popescu doesn't actually make the bench. The reason being is because I've got Dan James on the bench. He's a 77 overall rated, and I don't really have a place at the moment for Popescu, I should say. But he definitely will have an opportunity as games go on. And if we have a quick look at Leicester, Ward in goal, Albrighton at right back, Evans and Faye at Faye, I think it is, at in central defence, Pedrosa at left back, Ndidi in that central defensive midfield role, Maddison on the right hand side, Pratt and Tielemans in the centre with Harvey Barnes on the left, and Jamie Vardy, the sole attacker for Leicester City. So looks like quite a defensive lineup, to be fair, from Leicester City, but they are playing away from home. But it is obviously our first game of the season, so I'm really, really interested to see how this one is going to play out. So here we go then, first game against Leicester City. And if anyone did watch my FIFA challenge video that I posted yesterday, I did also mention the colour. Oh, I'll give that away to Tielemans. I mentioned the colour of the pitch seems a hell of a lot brighter in FIFA 23 than it did in FIFA 22. But yeah, I don't know if it's just me who's noticed that, Leicester pressing as high. But it's I actually think it looks a lot better, and it's a lot more interesting, to say the least. As we go through here, he's in. Surely it's 1-0. That is an unbelievable save from the goalkeeper. Some dodgy defending there from Leicester City. Goes out for a corner. That was a big chance for Sinisterra there. We couldn't take it. And now we have a corner. Harrison going to try and throw this one in. He does. I still haven't got quite used to the way that we need to take corners on this game. I think I'm definitely going to have to try and get a bit more practice. And Christensen tries to keep it in, but Pedrosa gets it away from him. Tielemans now has it. Ndidi driving forward. Good challenge from Roca. We win that ball back high up the pitch. Harrison looks for the run of Rodrigo. Finds Rodrigo. Lovely. It's off the bar. Good early chance for us. Pressing high at the moment. Doing really well. Doing a lot better than I thought. I thought he was offside there. He was offside. Pedrosa gives it in field to Ndidi. He's unmarked in the centre of the park. Not really what I want, but Roca is there once again. I think that's the second time this game he's intercepted, but it's the first time in the game. He gives the ball away. Jamie Vardy has the beating of Struijk. Maddison drives outside of the box. Oh, that's a good cross. But fortunately, Jamie Vardy was nowhere to be found. Didi into Vardy. Tielemans. Harvey Barnes. I've got this on fast-paced mode. And to be fair, I had... oh, my word. Jamie Vardy with the goal for Leicester. Just as I was talking about how I've got the game on fast pace mode, I was going to say I've got the game speed at fast pace and it seems a hell of a lot faster on FIFA 23 than it did on FIFA 22. And just as I'm thinking that, Jamie Vardy turns my defender, don't know what on earth the goalkeeper's doing there, and easily slots it past. I mean, that is so bad. That is so bad from my goalkeeper. Jamie Vardy easily bends it round him. Leicester lead 1-0. Rodrigo, trying to tussle with Tielemans, I think that is. Gives it to Harrison. Is Harrison onside? He is just. Gives it back to Rodrigo. Takes a too heavy a touch. Bamford to strike on his left. Good save from Ward. That's probably one of our best opportunities of the game. It's another opportunity, though, that we don't take. Now we have a corner. I'm going to try, see if I can get this done right. I do get it done a lot better. Close header, I think. Goal kick. Firpo on this left-hand side. He's been pretty quiet early doors, Firpo. I was, Didi challenges, who was that? It wasn't Christensen. I'm not actually quite sure who it was that lost the ball there. But, yeah, Firpo's been pretty quiet so far in this game. We're not really getting what on earth is my goalkeeper doing? Jamie Vardy pressing him high. Fortunately, we get it back. Let's just whack this one away. My word, almost a very silly goal to give away. Fortunately, Tyler Adams is there, and we get control of the ball once again. Blocked by Struijk, goes out for a Leicester City corner, and I'm going to make my first substitutions of the game. Rodrigo and Jack Harrison to go off, and it's going to be a debut for Jacob Ramsey, and also Dan James is going to come on, try and inject a little bit of youth, a little bit of pace into this team, a little bit of energy that we so far are dearly lacking. Harvey Barnes, good challenge there from the substitute Dan James, and now we can get this away. Out to Firpo. He's got acres of space to run into. If we can find the right ball to Bamford, we can. He's got space to run into. Drives into the box. That is an unbelievable finish. Patrick Bamford on the counter-attack. Unbelievable goal. Dan James from inside our penalty box won the ball. Lovely ball out wide to Firpo. And an even better ball into Patrick Bamford. I said Firpo earlier was very quiet. Well, he waited for the exact right time to make his mark. Unbelievable ball into Bamford. And what a strike. Just on the edge of the box. Absolutely lashed that into the top left-hand corner. Left the keeper with no chance. And it's now 1-1 here at Ellen Road. Maddison now has it out wide. Firpo's going to try and block the cross. Doesn't block the pass to Vardy though. Vardy tries to turn on his left. Harvey Barnes. Good strike from him just wide. Dangerous moment there for us. Just over 5 minutes left. Try and see if we can get a result. But that is a very poor pass. Passed into trouble. And Tielemans lost it. And then we get it back after some pretty dodgy play. And that is a pretty dodgy pass. Just a period of play that has been absolutely horrendous by both teams. But now Leicester got space to run into. That was a big block from Struijk because Vardy was in there. And we are very lucky. Good defending from him. Llorente now passes that infield to Jacob Ramsey. Up the line into Patrick Bamford. Runs down the right-hand side. Can we get a ball in the box? No, we can't. It's good defending once again from Leicester. And I think with only a few seconds left in this game, it's pretty much going to end 1-1. Maddison down the right-hand side. That is that. First game of this episode, first game of the season. It ends here 1-1 at Ellen Road. And to be honest, I think overall, on the balance of play, that's a pretty fair result. We definitely had some chances. We didn't take them. They had one or two chances. Didn't take them either. It ends here at Ellen Road 1-1. First point of the season. And that will be that for this episode. Let's take a quick look at the Premier League table. You can see Manchester United currently top the Premier League table after, I'm assuming, a positive result. Yes, a 4-2 win over Everton puts them top. Wolves in second. Chelsea, Aston Villa make up the top four. Brighton in fifth. Scrolling all the way down to 10th for us. So, decent start. I will definitely take it. I think Leicester are probably going to be in and around sort of 8th, 9th, 10th this season. So, definitely a point won, I would say, rather than 2 points lost. Arsenal down in the relegation zone in 19th, accompanied with Everton and Brentford. So, pretty terrible start from them. They lost 3-1 to Wolves. So, yeah, difficult work to be done for them, for sure. But for us, 10th in the Premier League after our first game of the season. I think it's been a pretty decent episode. We've had transfers. We've had a decent start to the season. So, let's have a quick look if I can find it, as obviously they've changed the menus on the new game. If I can find the calendar, here we go. There is the calendar. Let's have a little look at what we've got to come in episode 2. So I'm going to play 3 games. Aston Villa away. We've then got a Carabao Cup game. I'm assuming that looks like it's Cardiff. I think it is. I'm just going to quickly check whether or not it is Cardiff. It is Cardiff. Couldn't make it out. The badge was quite small. And then, of course, we've got Newcastle at home as well. So what I'm going to aim to do is I'm going to aim to play 3 episodes a game and then hopefully upload every day. And if I can, maybe 1 or maybe 2 episodes a day. Let's see how we get on. But for now, that is the end of the episode. If you have liked this episode and you are very, very interested in continuing this FIFA 21 career mode with Leeds, please feel free to like and subscribe. It will do the channel an absolute world of good. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.